You thought 10 was the level. He's at 50 now. He's so charismatic that he lost himself in his power to move a room. And he's playing that role, like I said.
Check this out. They fired me, but did it in a roundabout punk snitch way. So I caught them on the streets and beat they behinds. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I was a menace to the Hughes Brothers.
Well, shit, we was all there together. Spice was there. All the Thug Life members. You know, Pac was telling us some shit was gonna pop off. We was actually shooting a video right off the 110 freeway and shit like in East LA. And Pac was like, yeah, when these get here, we gonna mop these up. Woo, woo, woo. We didn't even know who he was talking about. He just said, when these get here, we finna get on their head, right?
Everybody knows Menace II Society is a straight up classic. But here's what most people don't know. Tupac was actually supposed to be in it. Yeah, for real. Pac was cast for a major role, but things blew up quick on set.
And he wanted to get down with him. Like, we finna go up here and fuck up some shit. It ain't finna be no talking, ain't finna be no, explaining. Tupac, like, we finna pull straight up there because he probably knew they're not gonna do anything.
Word is, he clashed hard with the Hughes Brothers and even got into some physical fights behind the scenes. It got so wild, the directors didn't even hesitate. They straight up cut him from the film. Now Tyrin Turner, yep, the dude who played Kane, finally broke his silence and shared his side of the story. And let's just say, it's wild. According to Tyrin, Tupac wasn't just there to act. He had opinions. Big ones. Pac apparently raised his voice, asking for a deeper version of the script, saying he wanted the message to hit harder and feel real for the streets. Now everybody's buzzing online. Why did they really boot Tupac from Menace II Society? Was it just ego, creative differences, or something else going on behind the curtain? Let's get into it. So here's the backstory. Tyrin sat down with Vlad TV and spilled everything about how he landed the role of Kane. Turns out he showed up to the audition groggy, barely awake, just kind of winging it. He read a few lines, bounced, and didn't think twice about it. But just days later, director Alan Hughes hit him up and personally handed him the script. Boom, just like that, Tyrin was locked in. And guess what? The only other person confirmed at that time was Tupac. By the time you were cast, was there anyone else locked in yet? And he was supposed to play Sharif, right? That's the Muslim friend.
So we already knew it was tension. I wasn't surprised at all. But knowing who the Hughes brothers were and that they wasn't them type of dudes, they was just some normal, regular, cool dudes, They were some movie directors, you get me? They wasn't like from the streets on that aspect of, fuck it. You want to fight? Nigga, let's scrap then. Yeah, I fired you from the movie. You got a problem? Let's get down. No, like, we're business professionals. So I'm pretty sure that kind of fucked him up when he showed up at the set. And
Yup, Tupac was meant to play Sharif, the wise, spiritual homie. But what really went down after that? Let's just say it didn't stay peaceful for long. Even Lorenz Tate, who ended up playing O-Dog, hadn't signed on yet. That's how early things were when Tupac got brought in. And the fact that he was locked in so early, that was a major deal. He was cast as Sharif, the smart, college-bound kid caught in the chaos of South Central LA, one of the lead roles. But as we all know, things didn't exactly go as planned. So what really went down? Well, according to Tyrin, it had a lot to do with Pac's attitude during rehearsals. He didn't just show up to act, he came with a mission.
Yep, one of the twins ran, and one brother Pac got on one, he was squabbling with one of them, and we was chasing the other one.
At one of the table reads, Tupac straight up told the directors the script needed more depth. He wanted it to hit harder with a stronger message. But the Hughes brothers weren't having it, not yet anyway. They told him, at least finish reading the scene first, and then they'd talk. But Pac wasn't cool with that answer, and that's where the drama kicked off. The energy got tense fast. Alan Hughes was fed up with Tupac throwing the vibe off during rehearsals, so he told him to chill. But instead of backing down, Pac clapped back. The exchange got heated, and that's when things exploded. Tyrin says from that moment on, all he remembers is both Pac and Alan storming out. Alan eventually came back. But Tupac, he never returned. That right there was the last time Tyrin ever saw him on set. And based on what he says, it wasn't just for show. Pac was done, and it gets even deeper. Mo Preem, Tupac's stepbrother, backed up the story too. He said the Hughes brothers and Pac actually had a solid relationship at first. According to him, Pac helped them make a name for themselves in the game. That's why they even offered him the role in the first place. But clearly, something shifted. And once that bond broke, there was no turning back. But according to Mo Preem, things started going sideways the moment Tupac stepped on set. He claimed the Hughes brothers started acting like they were above everybody else, like they ran the whole show without question. And that attitude sparked major tension with Pac from the jump. And over the years, more people have come forward to spill the real reason Pac got booted from Menace II Society. Even director Alan Hughes finally aired it all out, and wow, he didn't hold back.
Speaking of Menace II Society, right, I had Spice One on the platform, and I actually spoke to some people behind the scenes as well. And they told me that, when Tupac seen Alan Hughes, he actually came up to him one-on-one and he punched him. Then after that, everybody that Tupac was with jumped in.
I hear what everybody's saying, right? Which is great, that's fine. No, listen, that's great, that's fine. Continue the one-on-one in, right? I'm just asking, and when y'all see this, I want y'all to comment on it. If you take off on him and you hit him, then continue with it. There's no need for everybody to jump in if they're gonna keep their one-on-one going.
He said the whole thing came down to Pac's unpredictable behavior. According to Alan, we'd be trying to rehearse, and Pac would just say random stuff, do unexpected things, get up mid-scene. It was all over the place. I had no idea what was happening. And the wildest part, everyone around was cracking up because Pac was actually hilarious, even while being chaotic. Alan described Pac pacing like crazy in his office, full of intense energy. He couldn't even remember what Pac was mad about, but at one point, Tupac shouted across the room, "Why you smiling? N-word." Yup. That moment stuck with Alan big time. And then Alan said something even deeper when comparing Tupac to Snoop. He broke it down like this. While Tupac grew up in tough areas, he wasn't your typical street dude. He called him an artist, an activist, and said Pac was a kid who came from the performance art world. But here's the twist. Alan called Tupac delusional, but in a good way. He said, "You gotta be a little delusional to be a great artist." He believed Tupac fed off reactions, like he lived for those moments when the whole room was locked in, watching him, especially when it came to impressing a woman nearby. Now that's a whole new side to the story, and it only gets deeper from here. Now, if there was a woman in the room and she cracked a smile at Pac, man, he'd turn up to 10 instantly. But with Tupac, 10 wasn't the limit. He jumped straight to 50. That's how magnetic he was. Alan Hughes said Pac had this crazy ability to light up a room, but somewhere along the way, he got lost in that power. He started feeding off it too much, and it became hard to tell where the performance ended and the real Pac began.
Check this out. They fired me, but did it in a roundabout punk snitch way. So I caught them on the streets and beat they behinds. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I was a menace to the Hughes Brothers. And it ain't over. I still got more than jump. Because I read what you said about me. Don't jump to the TV. Kick that TV.
Alan also believed that Pac was in a wild phase of his career. The fame, the pressure, the expectations, it was all building up. He said Tupac became unpredictable, with intense mood swings, and that chaos started bleeding into everything, including the movie set. But when Alan made those comments publicly, a lot of fans weren't feeling it. People said he was speaking out of bitterness, not honesty. Some even boycotted the documentary he later dropped about Tupac, saying they didn't trust the narrative coming from someone who fired him. Still, not everyone disagreed. Rapper MC8, who was actually part of the movie, backed the Hughes brothers up. He said Tupac was bringing that tension to the set, but not because he wanted drama. Nah, it was deeper than that. Pac wanted to flip the script, literally. He wanted to tell a more real, raw story through his character. MC8 explained it like this. Pac didn't vibe with the role of Sharif because it didn't match how the rest of them were moving. Everybody else was gangbanging straight killers, except him. That's what bugged Pac. He didn't want to play the one clean-cut dude while everyone else was in full-on street mode. He wanted to bring some edge, some truth to the part. But no matter how passionate he was, the directors weren't having it, and neither was Tyrin Turner. As the lead, he saw Pac's vibe as a full-on threat to the creative energy on set. Still, Tyrin was young, and at the time, he had no idea who he was really dealing with across that table. Now here's where things really blew up, literally. Firing Tupac didn't just mess up the movie. It straight up destroyed his relationship with the Hughes brothers. And the next time Pac crossed paths with them, it turned violent fast. The Hughes brothers were shooting a music video for Spice One's track Trigger Got No Heart, which was tied to the Menace II Society soundtrack. Out of nowhere, Tupac pulled up, rolling deep with a crew of about 30 people. No warning, no small talk. Pac walked in and went straight for Allen Hughes. Boom! He sucker punched him without saying a word, and chaos broke out instantly. Tyrin Turner, who was there, said things went wild real quick. As they got closer, all he could see was Allen on the ground getting stomped out by a crowd. He said it looked like Allen was fighting off 30 dudes by himself. It was a full-on brawl. And according to MC8, Tupac never asked anyone in his crew to jump in. They just did. It was like his people moved off instinct, ready to ride with him no matter what. And get this. When things got heated and Pac's crew cornered the rest of the video team, Allen's brother, Albert Hughes, straight ran from the scene and didn't even look back. Tyrin later said he wished Pac and Allen had just squared up one-on-one and handled their beef like men. But it was too late for that. The Hughes brothers weren't letting it slide, though. They filed assault and battery charges, and Pac didn't fight it. He pled guilty and ended up serving 15 days in jail over the whole mess. Still, despite all that, Allen Hughes later claimed he held no grudge against Tupac, especially after his death. In fact, he had some major respect for him. He said, if Pac had been in the movie, he would have outshined everybody. He was bigger than the movie itself. Now that's some serious praise. Allen Hughes had a lot to say to the fans who questioned why he, of all people, was the one directing a project about Tupac's life. Some folks online were fired up, saying stuff like, didn't Tupac hate this dude? What's he doing touching his story? And Allen didn't hold back. He said, listen, a-holes, Tupac apologized multiple times for what happened. He wanted to make peace. He admitted they never got the chance to sit down and fully squash it in person, but made it clear he's not out here being petty. I love Tupac, he said. I take serious pride in what we went through together and how he became a global icon. There's no way I'd ever try to disrespect that. Allen explained that he wasn't trying to rewrite history or spin a narrative. He just wanted answers. He wanted to understand who Tupac really was behind all the headlines and drama. There's too much confusion when it comes to Pac's image, he said. He's everywhere, in Africa, Asia, South America, Europe. People worship him. I've never seen anything like it. But with that kind of global fame came a ton of misunderstanding. That's why Allen said he started Tupac's story with his mother. He wanted to get to the roots of it all, not just the music or the drama. He was trying to find the why behind the legend. And the truth is, all Pac really wanted during Menace II Society was to work with the directors to create something more real. He wanted the story to reflect the truth of the streets, something raw and unfiltered. But the Hughes brothers weren't ready for that. And honestly, they were only 21 at the time, barely adults themselves. So handling someone like Tupac, who had vision, wasn't easy. Even still, fans today say it loud. It was a huge missed opportunity for Pac's career. That movie could have taken things to a whole other level. Tupac definitely missed out on this one, and that's just how it goes in the acting world. Sometimes, even the biggest stars take the wrong role, or lose out on one that could have changed everything. The actor who ended up playing Sharif, he killed it, no doubt. But let's be real. Pac would have crushed that part too. He basically was that character in real life, especially during the early days of his rap career, before he shifted into that more hardcore gangster persona. But now we want to hear your take. Did Tupac really deserve to get fired? Or did the Hughes brothers fumble by letting him go? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your crew. We've got more wild stories coming your way, so hit that bell and we'll see you in the next one.